dry lyricism cannot be absolutely dry. But humidity must be reduced. In poetry, I mean, if poetry is interesting for mankind, it has to be less humid than it used to be, or else. Yes.
How satisfied are you with the English translations of your work?
Yes, they are quite interesting. Listening to Adam, I noticed a few things I wouldn't accept. For instance, spouses instead of spouse. That I didn't notice.
That was my imposition on your poem.
You put an S on spouse?
It magically materialized.
Oh, yeah. It's quite a decision.
Decision out of.
Well, it's not mine anyway.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there are also some little things. For instance, I noticed that a line in the translation which is the solid oak, but in French it is the oak solid with a capital S. Well, to me it's important, but anyway, there are very talented all the translations, and I know that translation is very difficult. I'm very thankful to the translators and to you, even though.
He's a poet.
We'll keep that quiet.
Yeah, no, they are very interesting. What do you think?
I love them. I'm fighting my own resistance, I suppose, to reading it, because I have a pentameter or whatever that I want to read in your poem. But that's different than being able to read it and speak it. Or then there are times when I'm trying to read it precisely and it doesn't work.
Speaking about the public reading, Judith Balso mentioned the fact that it's important to me to read the poems, because according to me a poem is a kind of score. But a very special score. But just like a musical score, the poem cannot indicate everything. Everything is not written on the page. And the musical aspect, which is critical, cannot be how would you put it, ciphered on the score, on the verbal score. So the reading is a kind of explanation, a way to make people hear how it is written. And I try to be true to the poem. I'm not always true to it. I try to. Yes?
Thank you. Judith also mentioned that, and I think she was quoting you, that, and I mean that part of the book, reader stretches the poem. And I was thinking of the effect of hearing you speak instead of reading your poems. And I caught from Chants de Romain Fusil, cable effect, no effect of cable in the translation. And I was thinking of the cable between the poet and the reader, or the reader and the audience, and the creation of of a third sense, a causality almost, as though when hearing philosophy read, you have this effect that you either agree, disagree, or actually don't really care at all. But you're left with these three things. There's not a causal effect that I feel happens with the poetry, that this effective cable that happens, that's whether or not I want to be touched by your poem, I have to be. Whether or not anyone here wants to be touched. There's an inevitability to poetry that I don't.
If you stay here, yes. If you stay here, yes. But even though you go out, you're right. That's a very important thing, because we all share the same time, historical time, with its force, strength, and its weaknesses and drawbacks and so on. What is read, what is written, and what is read is conveyed, yes, of course, but sensitively conveyed and intellectually conveyed, and it's transmitted to people who share the same time. So, as a poem, since a poem is essentially a historical entity, I would say a historical entity. This cable you mentioned is always here. There is a cable. Whether I want the cable to exist or not, whether you want or the audience wants it to exist, it does exist. You're right. But I'm not so sure that it doesn't happen in philosophy, but should be examined closer. But that's a very important thing, yes. What's happening, what happens in the cable, what is conveyed by the cable, that's another point. And how is it conveyed? Of course, different books. Judith Balso mentioned an important series of lines in Rue de Merveilleux. The books are different to me. They speak of different things. So books convey different things in the cable, and the cable becomes different. That would be very, very difficult to define the cable. That's a task, yeah. Thank you. I should write an essay called The Cable. Maybe I will, thanks to you. The Cable. That's a movie title. The Cable. A Sidney Lumet or a Sidney Pollack movie. The Cable. Just like The Firm. Thank you.